first mountain bike race in Mammoth was held in the summer of 1985. It was hard to ignore this American-born sport, and 3 races were tagged on to the annual road races. The infamous Kamikaze Downhill, the Sierra 7500 cross-country race, and the Observed Trials. It was the first mountain bike race to be conducted as a stage race. Points were given for your placement in all the events to produce a winner for the entire series. A cyclist must be proficient in many disciplines to be the overall winner. The cross-country event was the toughest mountain bike race ever held. The racers rose from the deserts of Bishop, California to 11,000 feet in the Sierra and back down again. After 50 miles, it was a photo finish between the first heroes of mountain biking, Joe Murray and Roy Rivers. The Kamikaze Downhill was to become the most famous of all the events. There were no rules, just don't crash. Unfortunately, the course designers didn't bring in the possibility of rain into the equation. A stretch of pavement at the finish provided the most memorable moments of this race. The Observed Trials simulated the types of obstacles a rider would encounter on the trail. The idea is to clear the obstacle without putting your foot down. Only one man used a new technique called hopping, Kevin Norton. In 1986, Norton went on to battle 14-year-old Andy Grayson for the Observed Trials title. By now, this event was in a world of its own. Bikes were modified to clear obstacles, and the riding style looked nothing like trail riding. Using a regular mountain bike is far more challenging. A new classification, the stock class, was created. The cross-country race in 1986 was held in the Cinder Hills and Pumice Flats around Mammoth Mountain. Roy Rivers and Joe Murray no longer dominated the field. With more entrants, the competition had grown fierce, and the bikes now utilize space-age technology. George Theobald and Jackie Phelan won the cross-country event. In the Kamikaze Downhill, Jim Deaton posted the fastest time ever, a testament to insanity. Then came the first World Championship. The 1987 Kamikaze featured this crash by Cliff Hake. Hake, a Mammoth Mountain employee, had practiced the course over 100 times. Joe Sloop won it. A punishing hill climb up the Kamikaze course challenged the racers in 1987. The winner was an ex-cyclocross champion, Ned Overend. In the cross-country event, Overend found a young kid on his tail, John Tomac. Tomac's reckless energy threatened Overend's calculated endurance. This time, the race was held entirely within Mammoth Mountain ski area. The course was brutal. Here, the powerful Overend leaves Tomac in the dust. The winner, Ned Overend. The following year, in the 1988 Worlds, Overend and Tomac battled it out again. Overend won the hill climb, but a flat tire halfway through the cross-country race left Ned far behind. Overend fought his way through the pack, passed Tomac, and won. The Observed Trials had some new faces on the scene with a bag of new tricks. The Europeans showed up with their fancy riding style. Trials has long been a popular sport in Europe, and the competitors are real showmen. The Spaniard Ott P won the event, with the Swiss Hans Rey in second. A new event was part of the World Championship that year, the Dual Challenge. Like a ski race, Dual Challenge pits riders against obstacles in the clock. John Tomac won this event, proving his versatility on the bike. Which brings us to the 1989 World Championships. The World Mountain Bike Championships is like an end-of-the-season party, and everyone's invited. The 1989 Worlds saw a new level of competition come to challenge the insane courses of Mammoth Mountain. The roadies had arrived with their serious racing attitudes. In the old days, road racers viewed mountain bikers as kids on toy bikes. But one look at the radical courses on Mammoth Mountain and road racing seems like child's play. Today, most of the top competitors at Mammoth are world-class roadies or cyclocross champions. If it seems like the roadies are taking over mountain biking, the relaxed, hip attitude of mountain biking just might be taking over the roadies.
After being a road rider for 14 years, I just felt like there was other things out there, and I just started mountain bike riding, and it's just been great. It's really, it's probably about the most fun I can think of you can have on a bike. So
no, I haven't seen the course at all, so I don't even know what's ahead of us. We have no idea. All I heard was there's a gate, and after the gate it gets really steep, and that's about my knowledge of the course. And my other knowledge is the top's somewhere up that way. I can see it there. But yeah, this just is a lot of fun. You know, the people here seem like they're really just down to earth and really just here for the fun.
10 seconds to start on the sound of the whistle. Here we go! Rishi Graywall, John Tomac now to the front. Davis Binney, 7-Eleven, strapping it in.
The Mammoth Mountain Hill Climb ascends the same course as the Kamikaze downhill. In 4 miles, the riders rise from 9,000 feet to the 11,053-foot summit of Mammoth Mountain.
My strategy was to go out fast and hope that no one could really just bridge because they were too out of it, you know, because they're breathing so hard. But Tim caught me and got by me. And I went out a little too fast and couldn't quite get on his wheel, you know. And once he got by me, he was pretty much gone.
Yeah, I loved it, great. Suits me finishing hard, starting off easy. You get nice and warmed up on the easy bit, and then you can really hammer it on the hard bit.
A smashing win by England's Tim Gould, followed by Don Myra. Road racer Tom Rogers comes in 3rd. John Tomac is 4th. And Mongoose teammate Martin Stenger is 5th.
Oh, great. Stormed up it. Just felt a little nauseated towards the top.
I just rode steady the rest of the way, hoping that I could maintain 2nd. At one point, Tom Rogers passed me, but then I passed him back by and managed to stay there.
It was great because I thought the last part was going to be really really dusty. I'd have to run my bike, and all of a sudden there's the finish line.
Yeah. Was the wind a factor?
A little bit, but not bad.
What was your strategy for this course?
Go from the start as hard as I could, and hopefully no one would be super close to me.
How was it, Inga?
Hard score. That was pretty fun, really.
You like this mountain biking stuff?
Yeah, it is fun. Hardcore.
It was great, awesome. Woo, scream at Amy. All right, here we go. Beginner class.
The Norba World Championships is not just for world champions. Everyone is invited. For many of these riders, this is their first race. The beginner class is where mountain bike racers pay their dues. One of the first lessons is to get away from the pack at the start. If you don't, you end up in a situation like this. With over 500 entrants, the beginner class at Mammoth is the largest field to ever compete in a mountain bike race. Most of these entrants are from Southern California. They're used to traffic. If you're going to be stuck in a jam, might as well be in your national forest. If you do get out in front, stay on two wheels, or you'll find yourself hacking with the pack. There are many ways to climb a hill. Race director Bill Cockroft thought everyone would ride up this hill. Descents require courage. Obstacles demand concentration. The single track is what mountain bikes were made for. The beginner soon learns that the single track requires thought and skill. But to the beginner, winning is secondary. Most of these beginners are happy just to complete the course and not be flossing dirt from their teeth the next morning. Let's take a look at some of the different techniques needed to complete this grueling course. Mammoth Mountain is covered in pumice. Pumice is soft and slippery. You must keep a straight line or your wheels will wash out in the dirt. It is best to steer straight through the pumice. Keep your momentum going. Absorb the shock with your arms, not with your legs. Trees can really get in the way. A couple of narrow spots on the backside of the course stopped a few riders. You must pick the right line.
Really good.
It's all right. Go, go! Oh, you're telling me?
A racer must be careful of obstacles, like these roots. Roots can throw you. Watch this rider's back wheel. If you get wishy-washy in the pumice, a root will stop you. Be careful that you don't get any roots in your spokes. Be determined and keep your momentum going when riding over obstacles. Cornering, on the other hand, demands a tight line. Although you are tempted to put your foot out in a controlled skid, it is best to keep your feet in the toe clips. This keeps your weight centered over the rear tire, not to the side or out in front. When approaching a tight curve, a rear-weighted stance is preferable. Too far forward, and you go over the handlebars. That hurts. This fellow's going to be singing soprano for a while. While descending, keep yourself upright by making weight shifts subtle and fluid. In softer terrain, keep your wheels straight, especially if you are being chased by a rabid dog that's foaming at the mouth. Fortunately, a mountain bike can usually outrun a dog. Look at it this way. To train for a mountain bike race, you must see things from a dog's eye view. You must have the energy and stamina to chew up hills. You have to be absolutely fearless on the most hairy descents. You must have the endurance to keep up with the leaders, even though you are dog tired. And you must be willing to eat a little dirt once in a while.
10 seconds, girls. Good luck. Keep it on two wheels on the sound of the whistle. The World Championship for women. And a good line on the inside by that expert girl.
It's the start of the Super and Expert Women's cross-country race. Sarah Ballantyne and Darcy Wright jump on it, breaking away from the rest of the field.
The Veterans World Championship going right now.
3 minutes later, it's the start of the Veterans class on the same course. In no time at all, Albert Zweifel of Switzerland has caught up to the women's leader, Sarah Ballantyne. Behind them, Darcy Wright and Rich Perrier. Coming down the off-camber hill, it's Albert Zweifel in the lead. The 43-year-old Zweifel is a 4-time world cyclocross champion, followed by Rich Perrier and Sarah Ballantyne, first in the women's class. Behind her is Darcy Wright and Susan DiMattei. Sarah Ballantyne has won this event for 2 years in a row against the same riders. This year, however, she has 2 new contenders on her tail. Darcy Wright took 3rd in the Nationals last week, and Susan DiMattei showed her strength by winning the hill climb. Sarah Ballantyne shifts into high gear and maintains her lead over the other women. If Susan DiMattei can win this race, she could be the new overall world champion. With 1 lap to go, Albert Zweifel is 4 minutes ahead of the women, and the women's places haven't changed. Susan DiMattei is only 30 seconds behind Darcy Wright, but ahead of her is the undefeated Sarah Ballantyne. Albert Zweifel will take the title for Switzerland over the American Rich Perrier. Sarah Ballantyne motors towards the finish after passing a veteran rider. A minute behind her is Darcy Wright, and Susan DiMattei is nowhere to be seen.
Albert Zweifel, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it from Switzerland. World champion, the top American finisher, Rich Perrier. Good job. Ladies and gentlemen, the 3-time world champ, Sarah Ballantyne. And coming on in, minute behind, 2nd in the world, all right. She gets a kiss from her son first, then me, all right. Start.
Susan DiMattei found her tool bag wrapped in her spokes and spent the last lap catching up. She made 3rd place. Here at Mammoth, the course is watered down to ensure a dust-free start for the Super and Expert Men's cross-country race. Yesterday's winner of the hill climb, Tim Gould, could win it. He's already proved his strength.
3-time national champion, Pete Stumpjumper, Ned Overend.
Unfortunately, Ned Overend, a favorite, has the flu. He missed the hill climb yesterday to save his strength for this race. But Ned's been around a long time, and the new kid on the block, Don Myra, could give Ned a run for his money. Don had won the previous week at the Norba Nationals, and he has a secret weapon. Rishi Grewal has raced at Mammoth as both a road and mountain bike rider. He's always placed, but never won. His experience could earn him a win. For John Tomac, this has always been a frustrating race. Although John dominates mountain bike racing, he has never won the Mammoth Cross Country. With Ned's health failing, he might win it.
When you hear the whistle, 4 laps, 32 miles, let's make some noise! There we go! John Tomac, Tim Gould on it!
Along the straightaway, out of the start, the racers jockey for position. In the lead is John Tomac. Rishi Grewal second, followed by Tim Gould and David Baker of England. Dave Weens is 7th, and Don Myra is 8th. On the off-camber hill, coming back into the staging area, it's Tim Gould, followed by Don Myra of the Ritchie team. Gould looks strong. Can he keep it up for the whole race? Following Myra is Rishi Grewal in 3rd and John Tomac in 4th. On the back side of the course, Don Myra makes his move. He puts on the steam and pulls away from the pack. His secret weapon has worked. Don Myra is riding the lightest mountain bike ever made. The Ritchie P23 weighs in at only 22.8 pounds. This is not a flimsy aluminum bike. It is made of steel. The Ritchie P23 and its components utilize a double-butted tubing that trims the fat yet remains strong and sturdy, as evidenced by the punishment Don Myra puts it through. Behind Don Myra, John Tomac in 2nd place. Here, Rishi Grewal passes Ned Overend for 3rd. Behind Ned Overend, it's Tim Gould, followed by John Weisenreiter and Dave Weens. Don Myra pushes around the backside of the course flawlessly, as does John Tomac. For the first time this year, Norba will recognize only the winner of the cross country as world champion. However, for a versatile racer like John Tomac, Mammoth Mountain will recognize an overall champion in the hill climb, cross country, and downhill.
Win! You have the strength to win, Don! You can do it!
At the end of the 3rd lap, Rishi Grewal is now in 2nd place. John Tomac in 3rd is beginning to fade. Behind Tomac, Ned Overend passes John Weisenreiter. Don Myra has held the lead for the whole race. Can he hold it for the last lap?
You'll know who it really is. Ladies and gentlemen, 1 lap to go. Here comes Don Myra. Yes, it is. Team GT on Crest on the skinny tires. Rishi Grewal, 1 to go. Let's make some noise. Coming up with you, it is Ned Overend, the defending world champion from Durango, Colorado. 1 to go at 1 minute.
Ned Overend has passed John Tomac for 3rd place, and Tomac has 2 strong riders in hot pursuit. Teammate Dave Weens and John Weisenreiter. The battle will be for 3rd place. If Rishi Grewal is going to catch Don Myra, it is here on the steep hill, affectionately known as the Hike-a-Bike. For Myra, it is easier to carry the Ritchie P23 up the hill. The frame weighs only 3.9 pounds. Don Myra doesn't have to look back. He can feel Rishi Grewal coming up behind him. Rishi pounds up the hill, trying to catch Myra. Behind him, now in third place, is Dave Weems. Tomac is not to be seen. Myra gets nervous and jumps on the bike. It is quicker to ride the upper part of the hill than it is to walk it. Myra furiously pounds away, distancing himself from Rishi. Approaching the bottom of the hill, it is Ned Overend in fourth and John Weissenreiter in fifth. John Tomac is now in sixth place. Don Myra has this race in the bag. There is a quarter-mile gap between him and Rishi Grewal. Rishi looks back to see who might be on his tail. It's Dave Weems holding his position in third place. Weems enters the forest to find Ned Overend right behind him. In sixth place, far behind, is John Tomac. Tomac, who has never won this race, will again place behind Ned Overend. Is John Tomac a victim to better riders and better technology? Rishi holds down the fort in second place. Behind him, Dave Weems winds his way through the Jeffrey Pine Forest towards the finish. Victory is sweet for Don Myra, but for Tom Ritchie, the victory is sweeter. He has proven the Ritchie philosophy, that a light steel bike can withstand the rigors of racing.
The Ritchie philosophy is trim the fat and put the strength where you need it. The P23 is a bike that is only as strong as it needs to be. It's built to race. There's a lot of exotic materials out there. Materials in and of themselves don't win races. It's a combination of knowing your material and having the best design. And the culmination was a World Championship win, and enough said.
Ladies and gentlemen, Section 1, in just a moment, we have a collection of some very interesting athletes. With the stereo Varney outfit there, Andy Grayson with his hands on his hips. Andre, the GT Jersey world champion, defending champion, Dave Wonderly. And they're just trying to figure out, these guys are competitors, but they also want to...
The observed trials is very different from the other four events. Here the contestants work with each other like teammates, not adversaries. The obstacle is the opposition. It seems a mere technicality that the cyclist who best masters all 8 obstacle sections is to be crowned world champion. Section 1, the log jam, attracted the most attention early in the morning. After scouting and conferring with the other riders, Dave Wonderly, using the stock bike he uses in all the other events, is the first to attack the logs. Dave tries a couple of different approaches to hopping his bike onto the bottom log. It's very difficult with a relatively heavy stock mountain bike. He touches a foot for a dab worth 1 point. He strategically uses the dab to bypass this difficult maneuver. Exhausted and frustrated, he loses his balance and fails the section for a maximum 5 points. Every rider attempts each section twice, so Dave makes the most of his failure by practicing the rest of the obstacle. By figuring out the remaining maneuvers now, he'll be better prepared for his second round. After watching Wonderly struggle, Wayne Crosdale finds it easiest to roll directly up the log ramp. He finishes with 3 dabs. Mike Craig, the 1987 silver medalist in the open trials class, decided the competition had become too stiff and chose to compete in the stock class instead. Having learned his lesson, Wonderly rolls up the log ramp on his second pass. He dabs once, but this time the National Stock Trials champion continues hopping through the rest of the section. As opposed to the stock mountain bike, the modified or open class bikes are specifically designed for trials competition. They have smaller diameter wheels, lighter frames, and their riders are trials specialists. Greek national Jim Dragonis is the first open class rider to tackle the more difficult open class route and demonstrates it doesn't pay to go first. 1987 world champion Andy Grayson is next and shows us why he is the top American trials specialist. Andy uses his bottom bracket to steady and rotate his bike on the crux of the obstacle. He cleans the log jam, and all there is left is the relatively simple log bridge. Switzerland's Hans Rey, the 1988 silver medalist, is a tough, methodical competitor. Hans is this year's favorite, since the 1988 world champion, Ott P., is busy serving in the Spanish Army. Hans is the only rider to clean Section 1, and he does it twice. While the European open class riders may be the stars of today's trials, most participants are stock riders like John Tomac, perpetuating the American emphasis on the all-around mountain biker. With only 3 dabs, Mike Craig's switch to the stock class pays off. He earns second place. With 8 dabs, Dave Wonderly has had his share of problems today. If he can clean this obstacle, he'll win the bronze medal. Wonderly cleans the obstacle and comes in 3rd place. A surprise victory came from Yoshiro Yagahara of Japan. He cleaned every obstacle without a dab.
Third place so far, and a little bit behind Andy.
How's the course look to you?
Not that tough, It's pretty basic. But, set up trials on the lawn and you can't really have hard things,
Right now I'm in 2nd place with 4 points. Ray's beat me. He'll probably win. The only way he'll lose is he really messes up bad on the last few sections.
I don't know yet. I still have to finish, and I feel confident, but I cannot be too confident, you know, otherwise I'm going to screw up. No, it's the best feeling you can get, you know, especially after a day like today. Stoked.
The dual challenge was invented at Mammoth and is designed after the pro skiing format of head-to-head dual slalom. Each rider races once on the red course, then on the blue course. The racer with the fastest combined time advances to the next round until a winner emerges. This course is difficult. Mistakes are common. The racer who can best handle it is the racer who wins.
Our next heat, this is a good one. The Coca-Cola Cowboys, Wonderling teammate Toby Henderson in the blue and Stan Lundquist in the red.
The dual challenge course begins with a series of slalom gates leading to a bank curve. You must jump off your bike smoothly for the quick sprint up the hill. This sets you up for the jump over the curve. Clark Natwick of the Ritchie team had a different approach to this part of the course. He decided to get off his bike early, run all the way up the hill, and keep running all the way down the course. Fabre of Switzerland liked that idea. He ran across the jump and couldn't get on his bike. Among the women, few riders risked the jump.
And the crowd is calling for one of these ladies to ride it off the jump.
Then Penny Davidson of Mammoth Lakes decided to fire it off. After the first jump comes the triple bumps. Most riders handled this section with ease. Here Wade Murray handles the first jump fine, but blows it in the triple bumps. Oh, Murray. A helmet was to be given for the best crash of the day. Here David Turner wins it. After the triple bumps, the racers must negotiate a hard right-hand turn and then come into the lower section of the course. This consists of a 2-foot pit, followed by another series of gates, and then another pit. Finally, the finish. Dual challenge demands a combination of BMX and mountain biking skills. In fact, the best dual challenge racers are top BMX pros, like Toby Henderson. John Tomac, last year's winner, was a top BMXer before coming to mountain biking. Tomac advanced to the quarterfinal rounds until this disastrous crash. Just like ski racing, a crash does not mean that you are out of the race. The only rule is that you have to go around every gate. However, Tomac lost valuable time on that run and would not advance to the semifinal round. Here it is, the finals for the women. Elodie Brown hasn't jumped the jump all day. She runs over it, and Cindy Whitehead decides to jump it, but she crashes. Elodie Brown takes off, winning this race. But Cindy Whitehead will have one more chance to catch up. Elodie Brown refuses to jump the jump. She gets on her bike and is still ahead of Cindy Whitehead. At 18 years old, Elodie Brown has proven her strength over the pro, Cindy Whitehead. Despite her tiredness after a day of racing, she pushes on towards the finish.
As they come into the two draw. Elodie Brown goes down. She goes down.
An unfortunate crash and Cindy slips by. Cindy Whitehead is the world champion in the dual challenge. It's the final round for the men. Dave Cullinan on the red course, Harry Leary on the blue course. Harry Leary potato chips his front wheel, and Dave Cullinan wins the race. Leary still has a chance if he beats Cullinan by 2 seconds.
Is it in there on course? This is for the world championship goal. It is Leary and Cullinan. Leary lost the flat tire. He's trying to make it up right now. Cullinan number 3, Leary number 1, and it is a dead heat. It's a close race. They're dead even. Getting on the bike first. They're coming up. It's a dead heat. And it is a little bit of a lead for Cullinan. And Leary right now takes the lead. They're coming down to the giant box. There's the final race of the day. It's a dead heat.
Harry Leary must win by at least 2 seconds to win this race. He's ahead, but he doesn't pull it off. Dave Cullinan wins.
I just wanted to go same every race. Don't go over my head, don't go too slow, and just stay consistent. And in the finals, when Harry crashed and bent his wheel, I just knew I had it, because all I had to do was stay up. And after that, I just was all relaxed.
What was the hardest part of the course, do you think?
Well, you had to go into the berm and then back on the uphill. The one on the blue course, there was no more turn left, so it was just like hitting a wall. And you had to jump off your bike and start running, and that was definitely the hardest part.
The first Kamikaze downhill was first held on a rainy day in 1985. Hundreds showed up at the Mammoth Mountain Gondola building to start their suicidal mission. Kamikaze means divine wind, but to these riders it means insanity. The Kamikaze downhill is a steep descent down the pumice slopes of a dormant volcano. It has gained the reputation as the most dangerous mountain bike race in the world. Yet, it is the first of its kind. It was the first bicycle race to utilize a ski lift to get to the start. At 11,053 feet, it was the highest start of any race in the country. No one was sure of the outcome. Would the course be littered with bruised and bloodied bodies? Nonetheless, all kinds showed up.
Fly-by-nighters come in and spend all that $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 for these fancy bikes. Really, just anything that rolls will do it for a true Kamikaze. Starting right there.
Is that the starting line?
That's the starting line right there. 11,053 feet. Let's wish him good luck.
This is the first racer to ever attempt the Kamikaze course.